The wait is over. Welcome back to Console Crapshoot, where we spin a wheel to play a random video game on original hardware. The last two episodes, we've played two giant, time-consuming, open-world games in a row. They're fun, but something older and shorter would be really refreshing. And it looks like we're in luck. It's actually going to be the Neo Geo, so I think we're pretty safe there from the open-world game. Just about everything on the Neo Geo was very arcadey by design because it's a home arcade system. Matrimelee, not a very well-known fighting game, even amongst fighting game fans. Chances are you probably haven't heard of Matrimelee, but if you're into fighting games, you may have heard of the Power Instinct series. Still pretty obscure games, but a little more well-known. Known for their very absurdist humor. This game is actually Power Instinct 5. We've talked about this before, but real quick, the Neo Geo was super rare. You cannot describe how rare it was to see another kid who had a Neo Geo system in his house. It was so expensive, the games were $200-300. It's like if you had a Genesis or a Super Nintendo, it was pretty cool. That's like the equivalent of having like a dog. I've got a dog. If you knew a kid that had both, that was like having a dog and a pool. I guess the TurboGrafx 16 was maybe a cat. I don't know where I'm going with this, but if you knew a kid that had a Neo Geo, it was like knowing a kid that had a Pegasus. It was impossible. It didn't happen. You heard tales of a kid's cousin who may have had one, but it just didn't happen. So anyway, back to the game. Let's see how much a copy of this game costs nowadays. Wow. So the Power Instinct series, like I said, was absurd humor, but this game is by far the absolute wackiest in the series and probably one of the wackiest fighting games ever. The premise is simply that there is a fighting tournament and the winner gets to marry either the princess or the prince of the kingdom, and the princess is actually the final boss. More on her later. But at first glance, this plays like your normal Neo Geo, well-animated, pretty cool fighting game. I wouldn't say it's the best one on the platform, but it's really good. But like I said, it's the most bonkers. There's old ladies throwing dentures. There's a buff dog man who's like a furry. There's a straight up fighting character that's a furry. An old man who has like a fart spray attack. I watched a video about the Japanese version of this game's soundtrack and breaking down the lyrics and that they're all completely unhinged. There's a song about how much fun it is to build computers. The songs are definitely wackier in the Japanese version. Still a little silly in the US and out of place for like a fighting tournament, but Japanese version is insane. Look into that. There's all kinds of weird, random, silly touches in this game. They just went all out. It doesn't take itself seriously. They just went full on insane. When a character loses on the post screen, it draws a marker mustaches on the losing character's face. The referee from the Samurai Showdown series is actually here. Samurai Showdown series was another, famous Neo Geo series, very popular. The referee's here, but in this game, you can pull him into the fight and beat the crap out of him. You can just hit him back and forth. You can use him as a shield. You can kick him into your opponent. He's just invincible and he takes a beating as much as you can dish out. My friend Bo came over to help me play this one. We had both never gotten into it, so it was pretty fun to discover. And back to the final boss. The game is pretty simple. You can tear through the story mode relatively easily. There's a challenge there, but when you get to the final boss, that's the princess, Sissy. This is the cheapest, most impossible final boss you will ever encounter in any fighting game, period. I guarantee that. We've all run into cheap final bosses, but this, by far takes the cake. There's almost no way to win. I could have, entered cheat codes into the BIOS and stuff because I have that ability, but I did not do that. I gave up after dozens of attempts and came nowhere near getting her down even half a life bar. I get turned into a frog here. Other than that last cheap ending character, it's really unfair. I have to just say again, but other than that, this game's pretty great. If you're a fighting game fan, this is like a cool hidden gem, a random ass game that you probably never played. If you have, I'd like to hear about it, but just a cool, stupid, silly game. Girl with a giant hammer, and I got turned into a duck. I'm a duck. So what did we think of Matrimelee for the Neo Geo? You gotta love a game that just does not give a I imagine there was a room full of people who were just trying to out-dumb each other with ideas, and I love that. That's a beautiful thing. I can't complain about that last boss enough, but I'm trying to think anything else that's negative about it. No, not really. The Neo Geo has better fighting games out there. King of Fighters games, maybe Last Blade is really, really cool, but you're probably going to have more fun playing this. We certainly did. Just a clean 4 out of 5 from me. Is it better than episode 80 when we played the King of the Fighters 2000? I got to think about that. We'll revisit that in the tier list video that comes up after episode 120. But yeah, very cool. Matrimelee. Thanks for watching, everyone, and if you don't mind going back and checking out episode 104. TikTok blocked everyone from seeing it. I don't know why. The robot that works at TikTok that makes these decisions did not like it. So yeah, check that out. Glad we finally got off of the open world big game situation we were on. I hope that sticks. They're good once in a while, but they take too long to properly play. This game was perfect. Get in, get out. But let's see what we're going to get next week. I hope you guys will be there, and see you then.